Hi, everybody. Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Madrid Mogensen, and today we are doing a fashion roundup of the Met Gala looks. But this is unlike any other fashion roundup. We've already looked at what is in the cards, what was going on behind the scenes, the blind items. We did that over on the YouTube channel. And now it's time to look into the stars. What was going on the night of the Met Gala? Why did certain people seem to shine while other celebrities kind of flopped? And I'm going to tell you guys, it is in the stars, and you can use this information to help plan your next big event, what you're going to wear. It's just good to know, right? It's good to know. So, we're going to talk about the position of Venus and also any major things that are going on. Something really big that happened right around the time of the Met Gala was Pluto going retrograde. So, we're definitely going to see some like Plutonian themes, decay, sadness, death, loss, all of that with this Met Gala, but also Venus and Taurus, the natural world, beauty, abundance, luxury, the aristocracy. So, definitely the theme of this year hit the nail on the head of the cosmic climate. It's just, it was so aligned. It's going to freak you out. It definitely freaked me out. I was like, wow, could it be more perfect? So, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the stars, and we're going to look at some birth charts. First, I want to look at Anna Wintour, her birth chart. How does one become the editor in chief of Vogue? And she's been doing this since the 80s. That's right, guys, since the late 80s. Like, mind blown. Okay, so we're gonna look at her birth chart. We're gonna look at what it takes to be the top editor in the world, and then a fashion editor in the world. And then we're going to look at the hits, the misses, the birth chart alignments, and misalignments. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. I love fashion so much and I love astrology. So this episode, I've just been so excited about recording it. I can't wait to get into it. First, let's just do a little teensy tiny bit of background. This is from Vogue. The 2024 Met Gala red carpet has officially closed at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and fashion's biggest night has come to an end. This year's exhibit, Sleeping Beauties Reawakening Fashion, examines how technology can breathe new life into garments that are too old and fragile to be worn again. Side note, people were saying that Kim Kardashian may or may not have been part of the roundabout inspiration for this year's exhibit because of her, wearing the Marilyn Monroe dress and allegedly damaging it. There's a lot of backlash. So anyway, Notorious, she is not having a good year, is she? All right, moving on. Guests ascended the museum's famed steps wearing outfits that gave a nod to the event's The Garden of Time dress code. The night's sartorial theme gets its name from a J.G. Ballard story about a count who, to stave off an angry mob nearing his castle, cuts a rose from his garden to slow down time until there are no flowers remaining. With the story's dystopian undertones in tandem with the exhibit's emphasis on old and new, we saw a red carpet filled with everything from florals to techno inspired fashion and even a Sleeping Beauty reference or two. Okay, so we're going to go through this article and I am going to chit chat with you guys about the birth charts. If you guys haven't read the short story yet, I am going to link it below. I'm telling you guys, this story gave me chills. I read it right before the Met Gala red carpet started because I was really like curious. And it was one of those things that really put me into like this mood, which I think that's what it was supposed to do, right? This melancholic mood of an appreciation of beauty and the beautiful moments and the beautiful people in your life and how time is fleeting. Okay. That is very Scorpio energy, I've got to say. The cycle of death and rebirth, of love and loss being so tightly woven together. That's a very scorpionic theme. I personally have my moon and Venus in Scorpio, so I do feel like I can tell you guys about this. It hit me right to the heart. Already going in, I knew that the energy of this evening was going to be either dramatic, like people who really embraced the dramatic undertones of Pluto retrograde, really going down to the depths of the underworld. I knew that they were going to be the winners of the night. The people that really struck us, that made us stop in our tracks, were those that took it to the next level, that went really deep with the energy. Like Emma Chamberlain, her dress was like decay. Zendaya, who really went dark with the themes in a black dress, and then in makeup that looked kind of like a dead person from the 30s. That's what I thought. I was like, is she doing like corpse core or something? Like, I don't know. It was like brunish. Anyway, we're going to look at all of these outfits. We're going to talk about their birth charts in detail. But I just want to point out that the themes overall of the night were always destined to be colored by especially Venus in Taurus. So anytime there's an event that has to do with fashion or beauty, Venus is going to be especially important to look at. And if you're ever planning to go to like an event or something that's important to you, look at where Venus is. Which zodiac sign is Venus in right now? That's going to tell you about what the public and what the collective are going to receive like the best. So if you're wanting to present yourself to the world or like on social media, or if you're going to an event where you're going to be around people that you want to impress, honestly, hot tip, I would look at like where is Venus and dress for the current Venus placement. If you want to dress for yourself on a date, if you're wanting to look good or present your brand, I would look at where your natal Venus is. And then you can also do a combination of the two, which we saw some people do that quite beautifully on the red carpet. So, Taurus, Venus and Taurus. Taurus energy, we talked about this in the last podcast episode. Taurus energy is extremely luxurious. Definitely reminds me of the aristocracy in the short story. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Taurus is also about the accumulation of wealth and money. Taurus loves to be comfortable. Taurus is stubborn. I would say Taurus, Leo, and Libra, zodiac signs that you would think of as like royals or people of a high status who really get to enjoy the luxuries of life. Leo, because it's the traditional ruler of royalty and lions and like that strong energy of the sun that rules Leo. So Leo is always going to be, this the shining sun, the big personality that others tend to cater to. And they also kind of get their way because they expect it, right? Libra and Taurus, they are catered to and they get to enjoy Venus energy because it's kind of just like their right. It just happens for them in a way that tends to be full of beauty and luxury. So for those two, they don't really have to fight for it or demand it. It just comes to them. And wherever you have Venus in your chart, you'll find that appreciation, beauty, and luxury tend to color that part of your life. So it's fun to look at and see like which zodiac sign is my Venus in, and then which house, because you can tell a lot about the way that you attract luxury, beauty, and abundance. Some funny things about Taurus. Taurus is usually a good singer. Okay. It rules the throat, the heart chakra as well. So speaking and feeling expression of a creative nature, Taurus, good food, beautiful clothing, feminine, like an appreciation of the body. All of the earth signs definitely have a lot to do with appreciation of the body, the physical. So Taurus, being the physical zodiac sign ruled by Venus, is all about beauty, curves, really appreciating the curves of your own body and feeling good in your own skin. So I wasn't surprised to see draping on the red carpet. Taylor Russell did that beautifully. I loved her skirt. Oh my gosh, stunning. She also has a lot of Virgo in her chart. I really feel like the earth signs were able to pull this off because they understand Taurus naturally. Okay. So let's get into the specifics of the evening and the main players involved. Anna Wintour, the ice queen of the fashion world, who has been in the game for quite a while. You've got to hand it to her. Oh my gosh. So there must be some magic to it. I mean, she has been dictating the styles and what goes into magazines for forever and pop culture. So let's look at her birth chart. Now, of course, Anna's going to be secretive. She is a Scorpio after all, and we don't have her birth time. Okay. I didn't think we would, but Anna was born November 3rd, 1949 in Hampstead, England, United Kingdom, and is the English editor-in-chief of American Vogue, a position she has held since 1988. In 2013, she became artistic director for Condé Nast, Vogue's publisher. With her trademark pageboy bob haircut and sunglasses, Winter has become an important figure in much of the fashion world. Widely praised for her eye for fashion trends and her support for younger designers, her reportedly aloof and demanding personality has earned her the nickname Nuclear Winter. Okay, spoofing on the rather more serious phenomenon of nuclear winter. And this is all from astrocharts.com, my favorite website to pull up your free birth chart. Wow. Okay, so let's look at her chart. She has her sun in Scorpio. None of us are surprised by that, are we? Her moon in Aries, Mercury in Libra, Venus in Sagittarius. That one surprised me, to be honest. We don't know her rising sign, although I wouldn't be surprised if it were Capricorn. We know that her north node is in Aries, which is a big deal, and her Pluto is in Leo. Mars is in Virgo. Okay. Saturn is also in Virgo. Wow. The reason that I think she has become so successful is because number one, she's a Scorpio sun, meaning she knows how to wield power. Scorpio sun sign people really do love power and they tend to pursue it. It's not something that is like out of their realm. I mean, Kris Jenner is a Scorpio. They have a commanding presence. They tend to be really hard workers and they can tell people how it is. They can sting with, with their little scorpion stinger. And and they're able to keep people in line. I mean, I feel like this is a power energy. Also, because Pluto is retrograde right now, it does not surprise me that Anna Wintour with the Scorpio sun would want to focus on the theme of time, decay, death. These are all very scorpionic themes. The fall of the aristocracy. I mean, whoa. But that's very much her. And Scorpios can deal with those types of darker themes. And when you're a person in a powerful position, especially over many, many years, you have to be solid as a rock to deal with all the types of situations that come up, the infighting, the gossip, like feelings and emotions can really be difficult to deal with when you have so much going on around you. So, her Scorpio sun and Aries moon combination, they have a fortress. They are not someone that can be messed with, unf-withable, as people say. And with an Aries moon, she is driven. She's driven to succeed. She wants to be the first to do things. She also wants to win. Also, Aries will tell you bluntly how it is. And then with Scorpio energy backing that, I mean, the bluntness, oh my gosh, the only way that she was able, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the only way she was able to stay in her position without alienating people and pissing people off to the fact that she, where she would get fired is because she has Mercury in Libra, because that softens things. It's also a focus on, because Mercury's the way we think and communicate, a focus on beauty. She's able to look at the Libra energy of which is Venus ruled, and see like what's beautiful. What are people going to love? What are other people going to find beautiful? So she has this ability to see, create, and communicate beauty, which as a magazine editor, you have to be able to communicate that beauty. I mean, wow, she was made for this. She's able to communicate beauty, but her sun sign and her moon sign, so her ego, herself, is Scorpio, which is power and transformation. And then her moon sign, Aries, is a fighting spirit and focus on I am. So she is not someone that needs other people's approval. She believes that her opinion has value and worth. Aries are very self confident. So she's got the self confidence, the power, and the desire and talent for communicating and sharing beauty with others. Wow. Makes sense. It makes so much sense. Other things to note about her chart: Mars in Virgo, along with Saturn in Virgo. Okay, Virgo has a lot of amazing qualities. I'm also just saying that to soften the blow because I have a Virgo sun. But I'll tell you something else about Virgo. Virgos can be myopic. We can be critical. We can be like to the point where we are nauseating ourselves by looking at every little detail. It's because we're Mercury ruled and we can't help but notice every detail and want things to be perfect. And that can be stressful in life a lot of the time. But if that's where your Mars is and you are a fashion editor for the leading fashion magazine in the world, then that would actually be very, very helpful because Mars is what you're passionate about, what you're driven to do. So she's driven to focus on the details. Now, when you channel that energy right, if you have any prominent Virgo placements, you know that it can actually make you very successful because you're able to see things others might miss. I mean, literally an editor. That's why she's good at her job, and she's so good that she's been doing this since 1988. Like, oh my gosh. I have never looked at her birth chart. So this is the first for me too. I'm kind of just like reacting in real time. And this is amazing. Astrology in the wild at work. And then Saturn in Virgo. Saturn is our teacher. It is the harsh coach. Saturn is going to give you something that's going to last. I always say that. And it can be a good thing. For example, Justin Bieber is having his Saturn return in his fifth house of creativity and children. He just got his wish of Haley becoming pregnant. So, like, that's a lasting positive thing. However, in order to get to that point in life, you have to be very serious. As much as that is an amazing gift, there are new responsibilities that come with fatherhood. This is something that now, for the rest of his life, he's going to have this mantle of being a father. So it's like you have to grow up. You have to really think about who you are and what you want. And with Virgo being where Saturn is for Anna Wintour's chart, not only is she driven to detail and driven to perfection with her Mars there, she also is a stickler about it. She has the staying power to actually make it perfect. Saturn can be extremely stubborn, but it's for the sake of excellence. So it's very intense. And with Scorpio and Aries right there with you, I mean, that is a powerful human being. She scares me now that I've seen her chart. I kind of thought, oh, she's just a person or whatever, but this combination's wild. And with the North Node in Aries, she is here to be that independent person. She is here to push things, push boundaries. She also has Pluto and Leo. So it has to do with creativity, creating change through creativity for good or for bad. I think Anna's done a mix of both. I'm not gonna mince words. I mean, a mix of both for sure. Throughout the years, the fashion industry has swung both ways to be something, a force for good and a force for negativity at the same time, a force for awareness. And okay, I'm not going to get into that because we're just talking about the clothes, but astrology in the wild, it's interesting. Makes you think. Makes you think. It's all making sense now. Someone that I predicted was going to have an amazing year and just kind of hitting another high note was Lana Del Rey. And wouldn't you know that Lana Del Rey happened to be having her Venus return at the time of the Met Gala. She's still having her Venus return because Venus is still in Taurus. So Lana's natal placement of Venus is in Taurus. And if you have your natal placement in Taurus, congratulations. You're also having a great time right now where you look your best. You're able to attract money, wealth, and like good times. People are going to see you in a favorable light. And so for Lana, I was not surprised that she showed up during her Venus return to the Met Gala dressed in a very Venus in Taurus outfit, a look that completely fits the theme, which the theme was a complete reflection of the astrology of the time period. It was amazing, honestly. So the fact that she looks the way that she does with the branches, with the organic material, draping, it reminds me of like cobwebs. Have you ever been to like a old garden or something where it like hasn't been like maintained for a while and or they're like around antiques and you walk in and everything's just like covered in cobwebs and stuff, even the plants? Like that's what this looked like to me. It was kind of eerie, it creeped me out, but at the same time it intrigued me and she looked so beautiful wearing it that it pulled me in. I love that it made a statement. She is in her era of just really back on her game, like, and she's feeling good. You could tell she felt beautiful. Her birth chart was just in alignment and she dressed for the chart. She didn't try to hide herself. That's the thing. Venus in Taurus, like especially during your Venus return, this is your time to shine. Go all out. And she did. And she dressed in a way that was very Taurus. Taurus rules organic colors because Taurus has to do with the earth and nature. So the branches, the beige, holding a rose. It was perfect. I think she knocked it out of the park. Oh my God, love it. Okay. But I will say my best dress of the night. I'll never get over this. It was so good. And I actually threaded about it and the Threads official account shared it, which that means a lot to me. I love them over there. They're so nice. Their team is amazing and they're so supportive. So my best dress was Tyla in Balmain. She wore a sand sculpture dress. I loved the way that this dress fit her. It fit her body. It fit her birth chart. It was magical. And she was carrying an hourglass so that the sands of time could be like dripping through it while she walked through the Met Gala. I mean, beautiful, amazing. Let's look at her birth chart. I also want to look at the birth chart of her designer, Olivier Roosting. Oh yeah, and she saw she saw my post, so I ended up doing her birth chart and tagging her so she could see it. She has her sun in Aquarius and her moon in Virgo. Oh my gosh, no wonder I love her because and her Venus in Aquarius. So I have Aquarius rising and a Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, like I've told you guys a million times. And so I immediately, when I saw this, I was like, this speaks to my soul. Like I feel your energy, girl. Like you're looking great. Sun in Aquarius, moon in Virgo, meaning she feels like a Virgo to her core. So what I said about Anna Wintour, about the details, the purity, Mercury ruled. So like the attention to detail, but also the ideas. Mercury is about ideas and like having clever ideas and being witty and things that will like surprise you. And this lived up to that. It was surprising, but immediately when you saw it, you like recognized what it was. And it was so cool. This is why I love the Met Gala. And this is what I personally watch for. When I see someone who really understands the assignment, goes all out, isn't afraid to really just like do it and stand out in the theme, thinking about the theme, being a part of the theme. That must be my Aquarius rising. I like for people to try to be a part of like the group. And when they do it, oh man, like I can't. I love it so much. So she also has her Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius. So she's not afraid to think outside the box. She's not afraid to do something different, which is why I think she was the perfect person for this. Also, with her Mars in Aries, again, not afraid to stand out, to do something that no one's ever done before. And no one has worn a dress like this before. This is a one of a kind. And it will never be worn again because it literally is one of a kind. It was molded to her body by Olivier Roosting. I cannot stop singing the praises of this outfit. It hit all the marks for me. For the after party, Olivier, the designer, went and he cut the dress so that it was shortened so that she'd be able to walk. So literally, this was a one of a kind, never to be done again. So I mean, her Mars and Aries, I'm sure that was just perfect for her. But with her moon in Virgo, when she listened to how she felt, to what felt authentic for her, what she actually really likes, satisfying her moon sign energy, she was able to tap into the earth sign theme of this natural beauty. And I loved it. I thought it was so on point. I want to look at Olivier Roosting's birth chart now. Olivier Roosting is the designer behind the brand Balmain. It is my personal favorite. Olivier Roosting was born in Bordeaux, Aquitaine, France, September 13th, 1985. He's a 13 energy Virgo, which means he's really a 4 energy of hard work. So we know about the number 13 because of Taylor, and we've talked about what that means. But I'll just do a quick refresher because it's interesting to look at the designers, I think, and to spotlight them because the Met Gala is really about spotlighting the clothes and the designers. And they partner with a celebrity to showcase their work. So I think it's really important to also make sure we give the designers their flowers. And that's why I want to look at his birth chart. So, okay, 13, that basically talks about his personality and the combination of the one energy, which is independent, forward thinking, innovative, and the 3 energy, which is creative, emotive, and expressive. So when you put those two together, you get 4, which is hard work and building a strong foundation. So, wow. An independent, creative, hard worker, no wonder. And he is just, I mean, his stuff blows me away. I love it. I love everything about it. I wish I could buy more of it, but it's way too expensive for me to do that. But he has his sun in Virgo, moon in Virgo. I mean, you guys hold on to your hats here. Mercury in Virgo, Venus in Leo. All right. That's why he has a little sparkle to, the Balmain clothes and why he's attracted to and has been embraced by the fashion industry because us Virgos can be kind of in the background. Mars in Virgo. I've seen what I need to see. I have seen what I need to see. I mean, and are he and Anna Wintour best friends? They must be. So he has everything Virgo, everything detail, everything perfectionist. Just going to say, but if you are someone who's making clothes or making garments and also pushing the boundaries, being a perfectionist is probably really, really good for that because, cut once or measure twice, cut once. It's like you have to have an eye for detail to make art that is beautiful and perfect. And then with Venus and Leo, wow, the lion, I mean, attracting attention and fame for his hard work. Really, he attracts fame for his true hard work that he does, for his Virgo energy. Elle Fanning, she surprised me. I did not recognize her at first. She was also dressed by Olivier Roosting wearing Balmain. And oh my gosh, wouldn't you know? Of course, custom, everything custom with a Virgo, everything to perfect detail. Elle Fanning was born on April 9th, 1998. So she is a 9 energy Aries. All right. So 9 energy is associated with, I was born on the 9th as well, is associated with transformation, humanitarianism, but it's also, the number 9 is also ruled by Mars. So to have a Mars transformative energy as your personality, the humanitarian, the person who wants high ideals, to see high ideals in the world and who tries to help others because usually 9 energy goes through things to help them transform and stuff. It's a whole thing. But to have that along with an Aries sun, she is a bold person. She is not afraid to do things that are out of the box. She's not afraid to try something new, to be a little bit avant-garde. And I loved her look. This dress is so beautiful. She looks to me like a statue from the Garden of Time. I loved the birds on her shoulders. It reminded me of something that I couldn't even put my finger on. I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before, but I don't know where. She gave me this otherworldly back in time kind of Neptunian energy where I couldn't tell if her dress was made of glass or was that fine, like a fine fabric or like where does the dress end and where does she begin? Like, I feel like she became the look and I loved it. And so honestly, 10 out of 10, I couldn't say enough good things about her. And I want you guys to guess before I tell you, guess what her moon sign is. Just guess. Virgo. God. So my 2 favorite looks and the 2 people that Olivia Roosting, who is Virgo, Leo, Venus, connected with, both of these women have their moon in Virgo. Now, is that a testament to, Virgos seeing Virgos? Maybe. Is it also a testament though to the fact that when Venus is in an earth sign, the other earth signs also feel like the beauty, you know, will shine upon them? I think so. She also has her Mercury in Aries, so she's an independent thinker as well, and Venus in Pisces, which softens her. Oh, I like her. Oh my gosh, I want to be your friend. Mars in Aries. Holy smokes. Maybe not. I'm just kidding. But okay. I'll tell you this. Elle Fanning is not someone you'd want to get into an argument with because she got her sun in Aries, Mercury in Aries, and Mars in Aries. She'll like, she'll tell you, she'll tell you how it is. And then with her moon in Virgo, attention to detail, but then also an ability to be ruthless, if not tamed. I'm sure she's tamed it. She's a very lovely person, but that is so hilarious. And Venus in Pisces does soften that a lot. Wow, she's such an interesting person and an Aquarius ascendant. Oh my gosh, that's also probably why I loved the look. It was very different. Zendaya. Now, Zendaya was one of the most anticipated looks of the night. And I think that she looked really pretty. I also respect, speaking of people who become the theme, I really respect the makeup because Zendaya is so naturally beautiful that she could have just gone with like pretty makeup and that would have been fine. You know what I mean? But she was one of the chairs and she made sure that her makeup reflected the vibe, the mood. You can tell that while she looked beautiful, she was really trying to capture the theme. So this first look that we have on screen, Zendaya in vintage Givenchy, beautiful. I love the corseted look. It's very, oh my gosh, I love her makeup in this one. I love the subtle purple. I love the muted tones. And I actually, a lot of people said they didn't like the headpiece. I loved it because to me, it looks like in our fantasy world of this J.G. Ballard short story, this could have been a flower arrangement given to, the woman in the story by her lover, or it could like, to me, that's what a bouquet of flowers represents, like love. So I felt like the florals that really did capture the Venus and Taurus element of greenery and being in nature and beauty and really like the Venus element of like things just looking beautiful and being beautiful and love, giving someone flowers, like just love. She like encapsulated that part, kept her makeup simple yet beautiful, really showed off her bone structure. Like, how can you hide it, right? And then the dress, bam, just all black, almost as if in mourning, right? The loss, the passage of time, the sadder elements of the theme of the story of time slipping away, of at the end, both of them like at the end of the story, it says like darkness sweeps down. So like I imagine like this being like the darkness or like almost like a funeral dress, like very intense, but I loved it. And because we have Scorpio retrograde, I mean, sorry, I keep saying Scorpio, we have Pluto retrograde right now in Aquarius. It didn't surprise me that she went for something so intense because she is an Aquarius rising. So people with Aquarius rising right now, they may be like if they were to go to an event like this and there was a theme, they are especially equipped to dive all the way into the theme because Pluto is retrograde in the sign that rules like her aesthetic. So going dark, wearing something that's kind of cryptic or of the underworld or Hades, acknowledging the darker themes of the night. I fully expected that from her and she didn't disappoint. And this one I really liked the most because of how much this makes me think of Pluto and morning and like even like the flowers like bundled in this black fabric, but it looks like a bouquet that you're giving to someone you love, but it's in black. It's like, oh, I loved it. Okay. But I also have I have some the same placements as her. So I'm always going to love it. Her moon in Taurus means that with Venus in Taurus, Venus is with her moon right now. So she could feel into this theme. This was her moment. I think it looked great. I really did love it. Okay. And her other dress, let's look at her other dress too. Her other dress was Mason Margiela by John Galliano. I love this too. Okay. And I know that this one was really controversial. People were like, I don't really like the striping or the colors. So here's why I love it. The blue and the green, that's Aquarius energy. The dark makeup that looks kind of deathly, the 30s old Hollywood eyebrows. I loved it. Time, the past, death. That's what, like, when I look at this, that's what I see. Even her poses were so dramatic. I mean, she looks like she stepped out of that time period. Like she could be a ghost. Like I loved it. And I also love that she actually has the fruit hanging off of her. I feel like I was transported back to like the 30s. And I love that she dressed within her rising sign energy, but also acknowledged the Plutonian energy of, the darker themes through her makeup. I thought it was amazing. And through the dramatic way she was posing. We're gonna gossip a little bit now. Did not love Michelle Yeoh in Balenciaga. First of all, are we talking about Balenciaga again? You guys, this to me is so Pluto retrograde that we are revisiting something that was dark and icky and definitely needs to be excavated, in my opinion. You know, brought into the light. I hope that people will stay mindful of exactly what happened there. I have put a link below. I'm not going to talk about Balenciaga or any of their designs except to say that Michelle Yeoh, they did her dirty and made her look like a potato, and that's all I'm going to say because I do not agree with them what they did as a brand. I have not forgotten. I will not forget, and it's just not okay. It's not okay. Moving right along, Dua Lipa and Marc Jacobs. Okay. Dua Lipa, I'm going to just be a little controversial here and say I didn't love it for a couple of reasons. I think it goes against her birth chart to the point where it just doesn't feel authentic to me. And maybe she's experimenting and having fun, by the way. And if so, that's great. Do it. Go for it. But just talking about things that either kind of reflect your true self or that don't, astrologically, she has her Venus in Leo, her sun in Leo, her moon in Cancer, Mercury in Virgo, Mars in Libra, Gemini ascendant. So the reason that I think she kind of gets away with these types of things is her Gemini ascendant, because Gemini is all about change and a lot of different things and experimenting, like I was saying. So yeah, this is one of the experimental things that she does, I think. But at the end of the day, she shines, in my opinion, when she really embraces her Venus in Leo, because she also has her sun in Leo. And like, what a lucky combination to have your Venus and sun in Leo, like just beauty and shining and like a star. I love the dress that she did when I think it was last year. It was classic, kind of more simple, very elegant, definitely a showstopper. And I think that she's one of the people that actually looks really amazing when she leans into the regal energy because she's so strikingly beautiful. I feel like this Marc Jacobs dress is almost hiding her beauty. And I don't feel like it's really allowing her to shine. But again, if she wants to do that, if that feels right for her, good for her, experiment. Fashion should be fun. But it just was not one of my favorites, especially because I don't see the theme in it. Maybe I'm missing something. I think the corset could be kind of like old world, but the boa, it's like feathers, like maybe she was like a crow in the garden. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm stretching. I'm willing to go there, but I wasn't really seeing it quite as much. Okay, we also had Ariana Grande definitely dressing for her birth chart in Loewe, but I don't know. Like, what did you guys think? I didn't love it. So she was telling everybody that the bodice of the dress is made of mother of pearl. You would think that that would just look amazing, especially because she has her sun in Cancer and her Venus in Taurus. I'll say I really wish that she and her moon in Libra, oh my God, she has such like beauty placements. I would have loved to have seen her do something a little more on theme, like garden wise. Cause I think she's the type of person with like her, Libra moon and her Venus in Taurus, sun in Cancer, who could really like pull off a beautiful floral look, but something like dramatic as well, something elegant, draping. Like I wanted to see more. I don't know. It just to me, it fell flat. I did hear from people that in person it was a knockout because it just was glittery and shiny. And I do like that she was going with her birthstone on top. So I will say in person, I'm sure she looked stunning and she looks beautiful to me. I just think that she could have gone a little bit further given that Venus is in Taurus right now and she's having her Venus return. Kylie Jenner, J-Lo, and Emily Ratajkowski. I looked at their birth charts because I was curious about why these three tend to kind of go for like the theme that they're always dressing for is like hot, in my opinion. Okay. And nothing wrong with that. They're all beautiful women. Everyone here is stunning. But I was just like, I feel like I've seen them all in similar dresses to what they wore to the Met. And this is the one time where I really love to see people like get out of the box, get into the theme. So I looked at their birth charts and I found one stunning similarity, and that is prominent Leo placements. Kylie Jenner is obviously a Leo sun. J-Lo is a Leo sun. Fun fact, Kylie and J-Lo both have a Scorpio moon as well. Such an interesting combination. The fact that they both kind of do the same thing. We're going to talk about that. And then Emily Ratajkowski, she has her Venus in Leo. I had never really looked at her birth chart. I've talked about J-Lo's and I've talked about Kylie's before, but I want to talk a little bit about Rada, as they call her. Like I said, does the same thing over and over. It's like the naked look. So I was like, what is her birth chart? Like, what's going on in her chart? I just want to know. So, okay. First of all, she was born on June 7th, making her a 7 energy Gemini. Now, this in and of itself is very interesting because that is like two different energies right off the bat. So, Gemini is chatty, sociable. It's the energy of like the social butterfly, like trying new things, always wanting to like think outside the box, like the opposite of wearing the same outfit over and over. And then 7 energy is all about being solo, introspective. So I think it's very interesting that she'll like write books and has a podcast about delving into like deeper themes. That's very 7 energy, definitely a thinker. And then with Gemini there on the sun, she's also very communicative and like she likes to talk, she likes the podcast, but she also likes to take risks with fashion. So I think that's why she's a little bit more daring and exhibitionist, with her naked looks and all of that. But I just thought that was interesting. And of course, with Venus in Leo and Mars in Leo, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, and her moon in Aries and Mercury in Gemini. I mean, she's fire, fire, air. Like she's all air and fire when it comes to like those main placements that dictate your style. So that makes sense because fire sign energy likes to make a statement, like I said. So that's where we get like the naked dress. And then Leo likes admiration. So I think that's why these three will dress in what they think works, sometimes even to their detriment. Like I said, I would have loved to see them in something different, something that's more on theme. Especially Jennifer Lopez being one of the chairs of the event. And the blind item said that Anna Wintour was not happy with her. So, we did spill that tea in the tarot video. But yeah, so I just want to look at her chart. I think that's really interesting. Not surprised with the Aries moon. Definitely someone who can really push through. Aries moon people are very, very fiery. I think having that as your moon placement is the most fiery and independent energy that you can have because the moon is like, your true core. So definitely someone who wants to stand out. And then with Venus and Mars both in Leo, that makes you very dynamic, very alluring. So I can see it. She does lean on that a little more than I'd like, especially when it comes to the Met Gala and the theme. She has Mercury in Gemini and the Sun in Gemini. So she's one of those people that's very capable of creating a look that is really cool and interesting. Like Balmain, did the with the Virgo placements and able to like look into things in detail and come up with interesting, innovative solutions because Virgo's ruled by Mercury, just like Gemini. So she has those same capabilities. And I just wish that she would have used them. Maybe next time. If we look at Kylie Jenner's birth chart, she has her sun in Leo. So she does like to focus on looking beautiful, drawing attention to herself, just like J-Lo. But she has her moon in Scorpio. So she has the capability to do something deep and interesting. And so does J-Lo. I think that's why I'm disappointed because I know their birth charts. And once you know their birth charts, you're like, listen, I expect more depth. I expect more creativity because I know you guys have it in you. It's like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed, J-Lo and Kylie. But okay, with that moon in Scorpio and then Mercury in Virgo and Venus in Virgo, as well as Mars in Libra, there is this focus on purity and on like structural elements that make you look and appear your best because Mars in Libra Libra is ruled by Venus. So her Mars placement has a Venus undertone. So she doesn't have a lot of masculine energy. Even though she says like King Kylie and all that stuff, if you really were to be around her, get to know her, she's very soft and feminine. And when she gets angry, I would say she might be one of those people that's it's probably hard to make her angry. And she's one of those people that's more likely to try to find a solution. And when it comes to her clothing, same thing. Like she doesn't like a lot of harshness, a lot of harsh lines. She feels the most beautiful in the type of outfit that she wore to the Met Gala. And you know what? Good for her with Venus in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo. I think she likes simple, clean designs. Her style has evolved so much. And I think she's really come into her own. I'm just saying next year, I'd like to see her kind of go for it a little bit more. Doja Cat, I'm actually going to do a deep dive on Doja. So I don't want to talk about her too much. I think I may have already mentioned that earlier. Lizzo, okay. This is actually an important topic. And then I have two more people that I forgot to mention earlier that I absolutely love who look amazing. And then we're going to wrap it up. This is too fun. I could be here all day. So, Lizzo, I want to talk about Lizzo because I checked out her birth chart because, as we know, Lizzo's really been she's been going through it. Allegations have been made against her. I have not been following, the case or like what exactly is going on now or where she stands, but it seems like she's just been getting herself into heaps of trouble lately. And then she received backlash about her Met Gala look. I personally didn't like it. I liked the dress itself. I thought the dress was pretty, but I don't understand why she needed that headpiece. It looked like a corset on her head kind of. And I'm not quite sure what it meant. Was it about the Met Gala and like honoring different pieces throughout time? Like was she trying to dress up as a garment? I don't know. It didn't really resonate for me. And I think a lot of people felt the same way. And then she kind of turned into a whole thing. And she said that if people don't like it, they're fat phobic. I don't know about that. I think that not liking the dress doesn't really have anything to do with size or. So I feel like she's kind of getting upset about a lot of things, and I wonder if it has more to do with other things going on in her life, to put it delicately, because I don't really want to comment on it because I'm not sure what's going on. They're going to get that sorted out in a court of law, and then we can talk about it, afterward. But looking at her birth chart, I am shocked because she has her sun in Taurus, her moon in Virgo, her Venus in Gemini. This is someone who should be thriving at the Met Gala, thriving. So I'm like, what's going on? Especially with this theme. I mean, the earth sign energy should have just been like, a fish to water. And it wasn't. It wasn't. She really, I didn't personally like the dress. And then she's received backlash. And then it's kind of turned into like a media thing where she's now, feeling like she needs to defend herself and it's turning into another topic entirely, just kind of snowballing. So I'm like, what is going on with Lizzo's chart? What's going on with her transits? This just seems like a very different era for her than, the previous like 5 years where she was very loved and like celebrated. Well, her natal Jupiter is actually in Taurus. And as we've talked about on this channel, Jupiter is currently in Taurus and it will be moving into Gemini on May 25th. So that means Lizzo is currently having her Jupiter return, which is usually something that is very positive. It expands the good things in your life. I mean, Jupiter is the giver of gifts and luck. So wherever you have Jupiter transiting your natal chart, that's where you can expect blessings and excitement and good things and happiness. So the fact that she has, and when you have your Jupiter return, where Jupiter goes back to the zodiac sign where it was when you were born, that's when you experience a big boost. Like it's like a supercharged extra boost of happiness and luck and abundance. And it lasts for a full year. So this should have been her really lucky year. And it would seem to be the absolute opposite. So I looked at her birth chart because I was like, she must have something going on with her natal Jupiter that is like detrimental because the transits, usually Jupiter and Venus are extremely positive, but on certain occasions, I think it's kind of rare, but there can be this negative activation with those. I don't see it a lot. I usually see Jupiter just being good across the board. However, if you have karma that needs to be worked out, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, I'm inclined to believe that she might be guilty based on the way that this is playing out for her because in her natal chart, she has Mars square Jupiter. Because her natal Jupiter is in a hard angle to Mars, Mars is aggression, passion. But the square aspect typically represents like challenges and action and energy in that part of your life. So with Jupiter there and her having her Jupiter return and her natal Jupiter being in this harsh square aspect to Mars in her chart, This is a time when conflict is amplified, opportunities for growth are going to be amplified, learning how to overcome challenges and maybe even suppress like your anger or channel your anger in a way that is more healthy. These are all things that are coming up because Mars is like the god of war. And so think about like hot headedness, but also think about like a winning spirit. So she's really being urged to learn balance, to balance her hot headedness, to learn to slow down a little bit and really use her moon in Virgo, which is grounded and stable, her sun in Taurus, grounded and stable, her Mercury in Taurus, grounded and stable. Like, I wonder if she's been getting a little too into her Mars energy, which is Aquarian. She has her Mars in Aquarius and her Venus in Gemini. So she has Mars and Venus in air signs. I wonder if she just got carried away in her life. I'm not sure. And I don't know about the allegations and stuff. So I'm going to just wait to see what comes out, in the court of law about her, what has gone on. But I've got to say, this is pretty strange. Her Jupiter return has been a really rough year. And with Venus in Taurus, again, you would think this would have been a great reception for people would have loved her outfit the way they love Lana Del Rey's, and they just didn't. They really didn't. So, I think it says a lot. Possibly just she might be having a karmic moment. So, that's all. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Pretty intense, right? My last two that I want to talk about, and there's so many. Oh my gosh! But let's look at her chart now. Okay, so she has her sun in Gemini, her moon in Taurus. This was her moment with her moon in Taurus. Fellow Earth sign to where the moon was in Virgo that night. Also being right there with Venus in Taurus because Venus, obviously with Venus transiting Taurus, like I love it. I love it. Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Aries. Ooh, I did not expect that. Mars in Sagittarius. I expected that. Her North Node is in Cancer. Oh my gosh, that's why she's such a great business person because her South Node gifts are Capricorn energy, the big boss, opposite of Capricorn. Okay, so she's working towards being softer on herself, developing a softer persona, and being softer on others. I get it. That makes a lot of sense. Nurturing and being nurtured. So her Chiron is in Sagittarius along with her Mars. So that means when it comes to passion, she may end up being drawn to people that hurt her. Very interesting. I wonder if Tucker Pillsbury is Sagittarius. Okay, but I digress. I'm getting into love life tea. We need to get back to fashion tea. Get back in the game. Okay, with Venus and Aries, I love that because it's individualistic, not afraid to, again, think outside the box, try something new, be a trailblazer. That is amplified by her Mercury and Gemini because Mercury and Gemini is the same way. It's just the air sign version of it. So she has fire and air in what I would consider, fashion placements. We don't have her rising sign. If I had to guess just by looking at her, I would say she has such, like, refined features. Maybe and this is gonna sound weird, but she may even be a Gemini rising as well. Also, the way that she talks is very, like, Gemini rising. I would be curious to see either Gemini rising or possibly even a Pisces rising who's just, like, very chatty because of that Gemini sun. I don't know. Be interesting to know. I would love to see what her actual rising sign is, but I love it. I think that she went with the boldness. I think that she really allowed herself to experience, that Taurus moon, which was grounded and stable, and then Mercury and Gemini, which was thinking about the theme and really going in and wanting it to be something unique and original and communicate that theme because Gemini is all about communication. So communicate she did. I loved it. It was very standalone Aries Venus as well. Beautiful. Okay, and then last but certainly not least, Taylor Russell. I thought that this look was really interesting. She also dressed in Loewe, which I feel like Loewe was like one of the darlings of the night because they also dressed Anna Wintour. I just feel like this was so stunning. What a strong way to come onto the scene for your first ever Met Gala. I was going to say performance because it really is like a performance. I loved it. And of course, this was all like molded to her body, customized. The top really looked to me like a tree. Like, I love the fact that she again became the scenery, became a part of the story. Um, and it's abstract because you don't exactly understand what it means, or like why are the flowers placed like that. But the fact that she wore the wood grain and really became a part of the forest, I love it. And I also loved the beautiful skirt because it was so flowy and goddess like, and it was such a beautiful reflection of Venus and Taurus. Like, it was a goddess outfit, and it's exactly what Venus and Taurus would want you to wear. So I think she just nailed it. And everybody was talking about how good she looked. So if we look at her birth chart, she has her sun in Cancer, her moon in Sagittarius, Mercury in Cancer, Venus in Virgo. That's what she was tapping into. And she also has her Mars in Gemini. So I was really feeling that Venus and Virgo energy from her, because just like Kylie Jenner, there's this like white, almost like statue type of thing where people with Venus and Virgo like to have molded dresses, like things that really like show off their curves while still being subtle. Kylie definitely has that Leo influence that makes her a little more out there, but Virgo placements are all about like quality, detail, femininity, and really looking like just that with that draping and everything, really looking like it makes you like a Grecian goddess. It really does. So that's kind of the vibe anyway when it comes to Venus and Virgo. And I think she channeled it beautifully into this theme by adding in the natural elements, the wood. Also, Virgo is very much about, the harvest and associated with nature and being grounded. And I loved it. I thought she looked so good. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. This was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I'll see you next week for an all new episode. And it's all about Jupiter changing from Taurus into Gemini. We're going to talk about what that means for you. It's a really big deal. The transits are transiting these days, and I'm excited about the astrology. I love you so much. I will talk to you soon. Leave a review if you can, and hit that like button, subscribe, do all the things. Please, please, please. I love you.